Resident Alien Season 4, Episode 5, The Human Condition, just gave one character his first appearance in the current run of episodes, but kept them around for an incredibly short amount of time before sending them packing again. They've been part of the Resident Alien cast since the show's inception in 2021, but have apparently been deemed surplus to requirements in Season 4. Although the figure in question isn't one of Resident Alien's best characters, they do generally contribute something unique to the show that doesn't come from any of the other patients' townsfolk. Of course, shows like Resident Alien have plenty of replacements ready to step into the void, but I've really felt this character's absence lately, and I'll probably continue to do so. Dan Twelvetrees going on tour explains his absence from Resident Alien Season 4. Asta's adoptive father is busy chasing a new dream. Gary Farmer as Dan Twelvetrees in Resident Alien. Gary Farmer's Dan Twelvetrees hadn't appeared at all in Resident Alien Season 4 by the end of Episode 4, Ties That Bind, which made me think he wasn't going to appear in the second half of the season either. The Human Condition finally allowed Farmer to make his Season 4 debut, albeit briefly. As it turns out, Dan has been busy performing as part of a musical duo and preparing to play a music festival. While he may have also been hard at work behind the scenes in his diner, the show hasn't confirmed or denied this, so Dan's musical aspirations are the only canon explanation for his absence so far. Dan's Resident Alien Season 4 storyline is a bit random, but it works. Gary Farmer's character has never really expressed a serious interest in performing before now. Gary Farmer singing as Dan Twelvetrees in Resident Alien. Dan has always been portrayed as the sage father figure to many of Patience's residents. Anyone who needs advice will often head to him, but music has never really been a big part of Dan's character. So, his most recent storyline feels a bit too convenient. That said, it's not impossible to believe Asta Twelvetrees, Sarah Tomko, Dan's adopted daughter, makes a point in The Human Condition about Farmer's character getting older. She tells him that now isn't the time to let his age concern him about ticking things off his list of aspirations, especially when he will soon have unavoidable responsibilities as an elder among Patience's Native American community. Still, I can't help but feel that the reason for Dan's massively reduced role is a little flimsy. Although no one connected with the show has provided a behind-the-scenes explanation, I think it might have something to do with Resident Alien Season 4's reduced budget, which may also account for Enver Jokud's Marvel-inspired early exit as Joseph Rayner in Season 2. But, as I say, this is just speculation. Resident Alien doesn't need to show Dan again this season, which is a shame. Dan is a great character when he's used more heavily. Gary Farmer smiling as Dan Twelvetrees in Resident Alien. I'm very happy that Dan's absence from the first half of Resident Alien Season 4 has been given an explanation in The Human Condition, but the circumstances of his exit from the episode are also a little too watertight. In other words, there's no real reason for Dan to come back before the season is over, as he's canonically busy with other things. On the other hand, there is an opening for him to return at some point. With Asta generously stepping in to run the diner while Dan is away, it seems at first as though Farmer's exit won't cause any problems. However, it quickly becomes clear that Tomko's character is struggling to watch the diner and fulfill her obligations as a nurse. With Harry's disappearance at the end of The Human Condition, Asta's workload is set to become even heavier, as she will surely embark on a quest to find him. So, I wouldn't be hugely surprised if Dan were to be recalled to the Resident Alien cast sooner rather than later to help reduce Asta's many burdens, even if it's just for another cameo.